And we're going to just move right on. Now we have MatchWare. And Brandon, thank you very much for supporting ATI Demo Days. And it is, wait, I got to find the timer here and reset it. And now, are you ready, Brandon? I see your screen is up.
Yeah, I'm ready when you are.
There you go. It's all yours. Thank you so much.
Cool. Hey, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the MindView software. It usually takes me probably 30 to 45 minutes to get through a true product demo. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a taste of what it can do. But obviously, if you have questions afterwards, I'd be happy to do a full product demo for you. So just to give you a little bit of history here, the software was designed as a mind mapping tool. If you're not familiar with mind mapping, basically it's a structure that starts in the middle and explodes outwards when you're thinking and brainstorming and organizing. And I'm not going to get too nerdy with a mind mapping theory on you, but basically the meat and potatoes of the theory is that what I just said, mind mapping is great for planning, brainstorming, and organizing. Now, obviously that concept can be applied anywhere. I'm going to focus on essay writing, but I'll show you, if I've got some time, I'll show you some templates, how other students use it. Now, because we've been involved with ATIA for a long time, obviously we've designed this as a tool for individuals with neurodiversity, but also neurotypical as well. And there's all kinds of certifications that we have, from the WCAG to VPAT, 501 compliant, Digital Accessibility Center, yada, yada, yada. Also, I think I want to point out, it's a small community of software developers that really focus on this market, and we're all friends. I think Lee and I have a beer every so often at ATIA, but we're all integrated together. And that just makes the portfolio of software you offer to individuals that much more effective, because it's not one-offs. The other thing too, obviously, I can show you a lot about the neurodivergent features in the software. I just don't have the time to go through each one. So I think what's really interesting on our website, and you guys can explore it, is that we have a justification page, which means we break down each diagnosis in that neurodiversity realm, and then we talk about the key features in the software that help those individuals. So it's a good place to explore, because again, I'm not going to be able to go through every single feature that helps individuals with neurodiversity. But what I can do is show you how it works. I'm going to be showing you the Windows version. Just like all of us, we work on all the different platforms. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend I'm a student. It's a little bit of a stretch at my age, but we're still going to pretend. And we're going to pretend I have a writing assignment over famous authors. Now, the first thing you're supposed to do when you get a writing assignment is create an outline. If they were like me, I'd open up Word. I think it was WordPerfect back in the day. And then I'd start typing and I get that writer's block. So with MindView, you can just click out in the middle of nowhere and we can just start brainstorming. Maybe I want to talk about Dickens. Then maybe talk about, I don't know, his early years and maybe his famous works. Don't worry about my typing. My fingers obviously still think it's Monday.
Brandon, I'm only seeing the slide with the key features for autistic individuals, so I don't think we've jumped to your
Okay,
demo.
I appreciate that. Let me reshare. How about there? Can you see that?
Hold on, load. There it is. Now we got you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Rookie mistake. So all I was doing here was double clicking out in the middle of nowhere, and then I can start dragging and dropping. I can press enter. I can, double click on a branch, to start creating more of these items. And basically what this mind mapping is doing is allowing the student to create an outline that's eventually going to be exported over to Word, to Google, to Pages, and everything's based on, drag and drop, so we can rearrange this information as well. So pretty straightforward just to jump in and start using it. Again, I'm not going to talk about, all the features here, but I think one thing I do want to talk about is we introduced AI in the software, and we want to introduce it as an assistive tool. Now this can be turned on or off because I know some school systems, still are on the fence with AI. But what happens a lot with students is they get that blank page syndrome, where they've got an assignment, but they don't know where to start. So with our AI, we wanted to help them brainstorm. So again, I'm just going to click on brainstorm here. So what we did is we limited it to 5 main branches and 5 sub branches, because the key thing with schools and talking to schools and working with schools is that we don't want to do the work for the student. We also limited to the number of characters on a branch, so we don't want to write out this whole essay form. We wanted to give them a jumping off point, and that's what AI does. The other thing with our AI is if English is a second language, we can translate this to any language that we want. There's also some grammar assist in here as well. But again, this can be turned on or off depending on how your institution feels about AI and introducing AI. So let me do this. Let me speed this up for everybody. It's going to be like one of those cooking shows my wife makes me watch. I secretly like them. I just don't tell her. All right. So this is just a bigger version of what I was working on. You can put images on here. We have a multimedia catalog. You can pull images in. So when I export this over to Word, and this is a really important note here, Dickens is going to be a main heading. Early years and famous works will be subheadings, and then it works itself around clockwise. The other thing too is we can open up this editor and we can start typing the paragraphs associated with these headings. So I'm going to put a quote here. We're going to imagine that says, "Please, sir, may I have some more?" which is a famous quote from Oliver Twist. Now we can't put a quote without citing a source. So in the tool itself, there's a citation tool. And I can pull sources from Zotero, Mendeley, WorldCat. In this case, I'm just going to search WorldCat. And I can put the ISBN number if I really wanted to. So Oliver Twist, and here's that book I was reading. So put the page number, and it inserts the citation down below. So we're giving them the vehicle, we're giving the student the vehicle to be able to plan, brainstorm, and visualize in this graphical way. The icing on the cake here is when we export this over to Word. And this is where the student can choose APA, MLA, Harvard, Chicago, whatever academic format they want. Under the general settings, we can include a title page, a bibliography. Obviously with the pictures, we're not going to send those over to an essay. And so let me just export here. And once again, I'm harping on Microsoft Office because I'm using the Windows version, but this does export over to Google Docs and Pages, whatever platform you're on. Okay, cool. So here we are in Word. We get a title page with a running header. It automatically generates an interactive table of contents for me. If I click on Dickens, now remember, everyone, Dickens was a main branch, early years was a sub branch, and this was the text that I was typing in for the paragraph. Here's my jargon, but this is the bibliography, or not the bibliography, but the citation. I was kind of jokingly say we're not handing out free A's here. We're helping the student focus in on the content, which I think is the most important part. And then we're helping them format it as well, which again alleviates a lot of that anxiety to format it correctly. And if I scroll down all the way, here we go. It also creates the reference and the bibliography page also. Now, same situation with PowerPoint. If we want to create a presentation, if we want to create flashcards, all we have to do is just simply export. And then again, pick a template, and then, it's just a click of a button again. Alrighty, Langston's a good one to show you. So Langston was a main branch. Early years and famous works were sub-branches. And of course, it brings over the image as well. Now, the other part about our Office integration and Google integration, Mac, it's a two-way street. So if you make changes, you can always import that content back in. Now, as I mentioned, I could go on and keep showing you a lot of different things. A lot of individuals use this for time management. A lot of individuals use this for note taking. But with the other two individuals that were before me, I think they might be a little bit stronger tools as far as note taking, where this one's really more focused on planning and brainstorming and visualizing. And I always have a really bad habit of pigeonholing this into just essay writing. But again, in the software itself, there's, excuse me, there's 90 or so, excuse me, there's 90 or so different templates, ranging from English to nursing to sciences to study skills. There's a lot of jumping off points, because if you think about it, it's not just essay writing where we need to do planning and brainstorming. It really can be applied to any subject. And it is applied to a lot of different subjects. I've got a few more minutes here. I've gone a little faster than I thought, so that's good. Let me grab another example. So a lot of students use this for note taking, or not, sorry, not note taking. I apologize, for time management. And this example that I'm showing you, excuse me, a little under the weather there. What this student did is they mapped out all of their major assignments and courses into one mind map. Now, what this does is give a nice overview of everything the student has to do. But they can actually click on a branch and they can put due dates on the branch. And I think more importantly, they can actually put start dates so they know when to start these assignments. So I've been harping on mind mapping because I really believe in the concept. It's theory-based. You can look it up, might be familiar with it, great for planning and brainstorming. But in the software itself, there's probably 8 or 9 different layouts. They could turn this into a top-down view, a left-right view, an outline view. But if we're going to focus on,
you want to grow your lateral delts by the side of your shoulders, right here. You want to grow that more. What I have found that most people back them up with this.
but if we're going to just focus on the time management piece, what I can do is I can just click on timeline. And then I can turn this entire map into a timeline. This can be printed out, be exported out as a picture. It still has all the functionality because we could move things around. We could add things if we wanted to. Also within the tool, there's a Kanban report for simple task management. There's a year wheel, and just like it sounds, it's a wheel with all the dates on it throughout the year, semester, quarter, month, week, however you want to break it down. And then if you really want to get into some project management, you can roll this into a Gantt chart as well. But I think the takeaway here is that it's a mind mapping tool. It's great for planning, brainstorming, and visualizing, but it also has a lot of other functionality as far as exporting over to Microsoft Office or Google, and then also turning it into a time management piece as well. But I appreciate you guys' time. I hope that you found it interesting. Like I said, if you want more information about it, please reach out and I can go through more of an extensive walkthrough.